Thanks very much. We'll introduce ourselves, and then we've just got a few slides to give you information about us, and Belle will speak and Kate, and Alice will help to moderate the questions, which we hope there will be lots of. So my name's Chris Morris. I'm a Professor of Child Health Research at the University of Exeter, and I'll tell you about my research group in a moment and this exciting project. Belle?
Hi, I'm Belle. I'm the Family Involvement Coordinator for PenCRU, and I'm also a parent carer.
Kate?
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a parent carer and have been involved with the programme as a parent carer for the last few years.
Thank you. And Alice?
Hello, I'm Alice Garrood. I'm the study manager for the Healthy Parent Carer programme for this part of the particular rollout of the trial.
Excellent. Okay, Adele, you had a hand up. I wasn't temporarily, but
it was a mistake. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to, so that's fine. Okay, if we can share the slides, Alice, that would be great. If anything occurs to you and you want to put it in the chat, we can always pick it up there as well as we go. Okay.
Can everyone see that okay?
Thanks, Alice. So this is our lovely St Luke's campus in Exeter, and those crocuses are up at the moment. Okay, if we move to the next slide. We're going to show you a video just very briefly that we think gives a good description of the programme, and then I'll say a bit more. So if we fire away. Yes.
Alice, you need to share the sound.
Oh, apologies. How do I do that?
So you need to unshare, and then when you go back into share, you need to click the share computer sound.
Okay, hang on. Okay. I cannot see that. Which one is that, Belle?
You're on mute now, Belle.
Sorry, doing well, aren't we? So if you click on share screen, just at the top, there's a slide bar that says include computer sound.
No. Oh yeah, got yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for bearing with us. Patience and kindness, watchwords of the pandemic.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
Can you hear it now?
Parent carers definitely struggle with their own well-being and mental health, because ultimately it's all about the child.
The stress levels for looking after a disabled child, or any child with an additional need, is incalculable.
I spent so much time focusing on my child that I put myself so far at the bottom that actually it was like I didn't exist.
When I heard about the scheme, it sounded really exciting because it was looking at lots of different ways of looking after yourself. And actually, through my daughter's illness, I was becoming very depressed, very anxious, and that was then impacting on how I was caring for her. So I wanted to just make sure I was looking after myself so that I could be the best that I could to help care for her.
The Healthy Parent Carers programme is about focusing on yourself, starting to give yourself time back, learning how to look after yourself, learning that you are an important person in your household.
We were there because we were parent carers and we wanted to learn how to look after ourselves. So finding that common denominator, and being in that situation really helped me. There was no judging and a lot of patience for each other's experiences.
I think what is really brilliant and important about this programme is that the facilitators are parent carers. That is extremely powerful for all of us who come and do the programme, because then we know that they will really understand our day-to-day lives. Even though I felt I was coping quite well, you know, there's those little things that you suddenly realise, actually, I wasn't making enough time to think about what I'm doing on a daily basis because I am so busy. And it was very much the little things, but then the little things actually become bigger in your life, and you feel that I'm dealing with other things much better.
What I liked most about the programme was the fact that you could slow down and just do things which were important for you. Having the online was really beneficial, because at that point in my life I had to be in the house with my daughter. I could not leave the house. I could just tap in, do the online whenever I wanted to do around my daughter's needs.
I've made some major changes since I started the programme, which I would have never have done. I've signed up to the Open University, and I've also looking after my health better.
Whether it's just having a 5-minute nap, you know, or time out with a cup of tea, connecting with friends, I'm more aware of doing those and the importance of doing those.
It's given me the confidence to feel good about myself and to enjoy life again. So I would definitely say do the course.
Thanks, Alice. If we move on to the next slide then. So as I said, I run a childhood disability research group at the University of Exeter Medical School, and we've run since 2009. And when we set out, we wanted it to be a partnership with parent carers and families with disabled children, so that we focused our research on the topics that were most important to families. And we've succeeded to a large extent. We've done a range of projects, of which Healthy Parent Carers is one. But the overall aim is to produce research that's relevant to families with disabled children, information that's useful, and to present it as accessible. So everything's published on our website in plain language as well as elsewhere. Go on to the next slide, please. So the Healthy Parent Carers grew out of some work we did evaluating face-to-face as a one-to-one peer support program, and we clearly identified the benefits of working together with people who understood each other, and we identified the emotional support that comes with peer support. But the parent carers who were working with us on that project wanted to do something to actually promote health, so they recognised their own aspects of their own health and their behaviours that were areas that they wanted to improve on. So that's where Healthy Parent Carers grew from, as a peer-led group-based intervention, whereby working together with people who were like you, who positively wanted to improve their health, that they would do so. Next slide, please, Alice. So around that time, I read a book called Staying Alive by Phil Hammond, who's a celebrity GP, writes in Private Eye, and my mum knows him from Countdown. He picked up on the 5 ways to wellbeing, which is the clang in clangers. The 5 ways to wellbeing were identified 20 or more years ago as behaviours closely associated with wellbeing. Phil added on the ERS to make it into a catchy name that, you know, for those of us that grew up with clangers on TV could remember, but it was also a way of, he works with young people, and it's about not dropping a clanger and doing your clangers. So connect with people, keep learning, be active, notice the world around you, give to others, eat well, take time to relax and prioritise sleep as key things. So working with parent carers in our family faculty, there were perceived barriers to each of these behaviours that were specific to the circumstances of parent carers. And so we have worked now for 6 years with more than 50 parent carers working with us to co-design the intervention, and over 100 who've tested it. So to identify ways to overcome these barriers. Next slide, please, Alice. And we've done a couple of studies. We did a proof of principle where we invited some parent carers to come to the campus and try out the intervention. And then we've recently completed a feasibility randomized controlled trials that tested the feasibility of training people to deliver the program and feasibility of delivering it in the community at, for instance, special schools, Children's Hospice Southwest, and other community activities. And that's where I say we had over 200 expressions of interest, and over 90 people completed the course and did the measures. Next slide. So we're now working with Contact and the Council for Disabled Children, currently on a pilot of implementation. So as I say, previously we've in the first instance we delivered it on campus. In the second, we trained some other people to deliver it in the community, and now we're moving towards our charity partners becoming the delivery partners, because I'm a researcher, but these charities will go on into the future, and that will make the program sustainable. Next slide, please, Alice.
So this bit is me, I believe. So hi, I'm Belle, and I'm lucky enough to be mum to Fergus, who is a 22-year-old young man who has a dual diagnosis of Down syndrome and autism, as well as having a very complex medical history. I have been a member of the family faculty for over 10 years, and for 8 of those years I was the coordinator of a small local charity that funded the peer support service for parent carers that Chris has already mentioned. And you know, the peer support study is where it all began. So I've been involved right from the very beginning in the Healthy Parent Carers programme. I co-wrote the training, I was the lead facilitator in the pilot study, and I co-wrote and delivered the training for facilitators as part of the feasibility study. I'm enormously proud of the work we've done together and the positive impact the programme has had on the parent carers that have attended. So I just want to fast forward to March 2020, when everything changed for us all. My business of delivering art in care homes disappeared overnight, and I was suddenly at home shielding my son as he is clinically extremely vulnerable. It was a scary and uncertain time for everyone, but for me and other parent carers, the impact has been massive. All the support services that we relied on were gone, and I was at home with a very confused young man who didn't really understand what was happening and why he couldn't go to college or any of his other activities anymore. My priority was absolutely keeping himself and safe and trying to help him access his virtual college and other activities that had been moved online. I'm not ashamed to admit that the anxiety this caused was completely overwhelming at times. So when the dust settled a bit, I reconnected with PenCRU and started attending virtual meetings, and was pleased to know that the implementation project was continuing, and it gave me something positive to focus on. Obviously, with no sign of the pandemic going anywhere anytime soon, the training needed to be modified for delivery online. PenCRU applied for National Lottery and COVID-19 Community Fund to appoint a family involvement coordinator to work with the family faculty to modify the programme. I was pleased to be appointed as the family involvement coordinator and started work in November. The task ahead seemed massive. And at the beginning, I think we were all unsure if it was achievable, particularly to be able to recreate the peer support element of the training, which is so important. We had already developed an online version of the materials for parents to work through on their own, which some parents really liked, but it was still missing the benefits of the group-based intervention. The programme by design is very interactive, and the beauty of it is that the learning all comes from the participants during the discussions and the interactive activities. It's definitely not about the facilitator standing in front of the participants and telling them what they should do to improve their health and well-being. I was unsure we'd be able to recreate that having to deliver it online. However, working with the amazing family faculty has proved it can be done. We have had to change some of the activities as they are impossible to recreate, but when we aren't together in a room, but we have hopefully still managed to keep the essence of the programme very much as a focus of everything we're doing, and we are able to create a sense of togetherness even though we are apart. Another positive that will come out of being forced to do this due to COVID-19 is that actually we have another way of helping parent carers that might, for a variety of reasons, struggle to attend the programme, those harder to reach parents. As well as the charity partners delivering the programme as part of the implementation project, 2 commissioners have already committed to funding delivery of the programme in their areas, which is brilliant news. And it makes me smile a lot. So now I'm going to hand over to Kate, who will tell you about her experiences of being involved in the Healthy Parent Carers programme.
I have my slide, Alice. Thank you. Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a parent carer. I've been a parent carer for 10 years, almost exactly since my daughter was diagnosed with a brain tumour. Life as a parent carer is unrelenting. It's inflexible, it's full-time, it's not voluntary. The job is different for every parent carer, but we all have similar battles to fight, and we all put our children first. And that takes its toll on our physical and mental well-being, which in turn has an impact on our ability to care for and advocate for our children. 5 years ago, I was in a pretty poor state and could only see it spiralling out of control. I don't remember how I found out about the Healthy Parent Carers course, and I didn't really believe that it would help. But being a researcher myself, I was intrigued by the research aspect. Little did I know how much those few weeks would change my life, and I still blame Belle for the breakdown of my marriage. Let me explain. There were about 6 of us on the pilot course, and Belle introduced us to CLANGERS in that very first week. In the second week, we focused on connecting, the importance and difficulties of making connections as a parent carer, and the many different relationships we have with the people around us, good and bad. I found that session really hard because it made me realise that my marriage was no longer healthy, something that I had been trying to ignore for a long time as I didn't have the strength to face it. As the course went on, I started to understand the power of CLANGERS and how making small changes could be very beneficial. I discovered why going to Tai Chi was important. Deep down, I knew it was, but I never really understood why until I realised that it ticked all my CLANGERS boxes. I met people. I was learning something. I was being active. I had to slow down and take notice of my own body. I helped others. I also realised that treating myself to that Riverford pie for lunch was an important part of it. I spent the rest of the day feeling more relaxed, and I slept better. It helped me get me through the rest of the week. Becoming aware of the benefits of Tai Chi gave me the confidence to put it first. I started prioritising it, proactively changing appointments and meetings that clashed with it, and I stopped feeling guilty about it. And slowly it built from there. And a few months later, I knew I had the strength to cope with not just ending my marriage, but becoming a single mum to a disabled child. A couple of years later, I had the opportunity to get involved with the Healthy Parent Carers programme again, this time to help with rolling out the training of facilitators. I myself trained as an assistant facilitator. That was quite scary to start with, as I'd never done anything like it before, but the course had changed my life for the better, and I felt very strongly that more parent carers should have the same opportunity. I'd already found myself trying to summarise CLANGERS for many friends in need, because I felt even a small understanding would help them. However, the real benefits are only gained from taking part in the discussions and doing the activities with other parent carers. I helped with the course in Plymouth and was fascinated and proud to see that those parent carers grew in confidence and strength in those few weeks. They formed lasting friendships, and they are still supporting each other, still reminding each other to use their clangers. Ironically, I missed my Tai Chi classes whilst helping with the course, but it was a useful refresher for me, and it gave me the chance to reflect on how much my life had changed since the pilot course. A year ago, the world changed for all of us. The world stopped. Appointments stopped. School stopped. The constant battle stopped. As a parent carer, my initial response was relief. It gave me the chance to catch my breath. But it also meant that the support stopped, enablers stopped, respite stopped, support groups stopped, meeting friends stopped, Tai Chi classes stopped. Parent carers became even more isolated than ever before and had to work even harder. In such circumstances, resilience was absolutely vital to survival. Two things got me through this last year: clangers and a lockdown puppy. Walking the dog replaced my Tai Chi classes and ticking those clanger boxes. I have met so many new people in the last few months, all with two things in common: a dog and a need to connect with others. I've learned how to care for a dog and taught my children. I am a lot more active. She forces me out every day in all weather, whether I want to or not. Focusing on her antics during a walk stops me focusing on the difficult bits. But possibly more importantly, she gives me the excuse to get away from my amazing, but sometimes rather annoying adolescent daughters. And that break enables me to breathe, to gather my thoughts, to tick those clangers, and to keep going. A couple of months ago, I was asked by Belle to take part in the latest stage of this project, modifying the course so that it could be done over Zoom. I was sceptical that the course could work online. There were many challenges to overcome, from that general weirdness of doing a course over Zoom to tackling a raft of technical difficulties. But the biggest issue is how to enable others to interact, support each other and share experiences through a range of activities designed for a group of people in the same room. The real strength of this project is the involvement of parent carers at every stage, from conception through to delivery. Some have been involved from the very beginning. I joined at the pilot stage, others joined at facilitator training, and that then reached more parent carers, and some of them are involved with this later stage. And that's why this programme works so well. It's been driven by people who know what is needed and what works because they are living it. And it means that the current modifications are coming together and it will work, which is really exciting as it opens it up to more options to reach even more people that need it. So 5 years ago, the research aspect of this project got me first interested. Since then, my life has changed hugely in a very positive way. It has been exciting to continue to be involved, not just because I think everyone should know about the power of clangers, but because I've also had the opportunity to learn new skills and to make many new friends. You could say that this project has ticked my clangers boxes. Clangers gave me the tools I needed to build my resilience, my bounce back ability. We all need resilience. We even try and teach it in schools, but parent carers need it in truckloads. It isn't about sailing through life without any problems. There are always going to be bad times. There are always going to be pits of despair. But I know that I have the tools to bounce back, to recover from those times, and that is empowering. It means I can face those battles, take a deep breath, take the dog for a walk, notice the emerging daffodils, and know that I will survive. Actually, I do more than survive. I thrive. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Kate. That's Bill.
I just wanted to say thank you, Kate. That sums it up so beautifully and eloquently. It actually makes me really emotional. So I will hand back to Chris.
Yeah, hair's literally standing up on my arm. Okay, if we stop sharing the slide now, and we'd be keen to hear any discussion, questions, clarifications from anyone. I'll just pick up in the chat, and a couple of people have had to leave, but you've certainly wowed the audience, Kate. So it would be nice to.
You're still sharing your screen, Alex.
Just trying to stop.
That's it.
So if you'd like to. Oh, I've got a hand up. Let's see who it is. Adele.
Oh, wow. Can I just start by saying what an amazing presentation, and Kate, that just resonates. You know, it was just amazing to listen to your story, and thank you for sharing it. So I work closely with the Parent Care Forum in Gloucestershire, and how, from the local authority perspective, to kind of really make that strategic partnership meaningful. But listening to this, we've just done some really co-production training from the Production Network Wales, which was really powerful. It was some local authority and health professionals together with parent carers and young people learning together. And we're very keen to kind of build on that, that kind of relationship and build a network. And I'm just wondering, with your partnership with Contact and Council for Disabled Children, what are your plans in terms of getting this programme shared out so that parent carers in Gloucestershire and all the other kind of areas can start to really get parent carers access to training to be able to facilitate this? And also, what kind of support do you see from, say, local authority and CCGs in terms of commissioning and supporting that? Just think I feel we're ripe for it in Gloucestershire, and I'm sure most other local authorities would feel the same. But it's just such a practical, useful way of supporting our parent carers.
Yeah, thanks, Adele. So the long-term delivery partners at the moment would be the charities, who are working collaboratively rather than independently. And sustainably, people who want to run the course in their area would approach them, and they can make it happen. So there are now, so it was conceived as a group-based program in real life. And when we did one of the trials, we thought the minimum alternative for a control group would be just to put some information on a website. But as you heard in the video, one of the parents, or several of the parents, actually quite like that. And now, as Belle's described, we've got this virtual online group delivery strategy. So we're looking at a suite of delivery options that can be made available. But at the moment, we will be delivering the programme to 2 areas that volunteered to work with the charities later this year. We've got 2 more commissioners who are interested in running it. So we've just got to get the timing right, because we need to train the facilitators. So the more facilitators we can train in one go, the more efficient it is. So the greater the demand for it to happen. So it's about people coming forward who want to commission it, or people who would like it commissioned on their behalf, seeking someone who would pay for a course to be delivered in their area, to make that happen. And then
Yeah.
Okay. Any other?
There is a hand up.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry, hi, it's Chris. Great name, Chris. By the way.
That's so.
That's what confused me. I was
Do you know what?
I haven't got my hand up, and
it gets even weirder when I tell you that I went to St. Luke's campus myself. So in terms of even more of of those kind of links. So I'm from Bedford Borough as an area, and I think probably similar to what Adele was talking about. We've been doing a lot of work with our Parent Care Forum. We've identified for a couple of years now that actually parent care wellbeing is so important and actually filters across everything else that you're trying to do around SEND improvement or any activities we use the phrase quite often, you can't pour from an empty cup. And so actually what we keep asking for our parent carers is sometimes, you know, we need to look at ourselves and think, well, if we're not supporting parent carers with their own emotional well-being and support, and not just practical respite aspects, but also inwardly looking. So we've been actually, it's really interesting hearing this, is why I really sort of signed up to this program, is because we've been working with the Parent Carer Forum to effectively do what it sounds like you've kind of done. We've been working with our partners from things like the Recovery College in adult mental health and wellbeing, thinking about arts and craft, putting on various different activities to kind of support our parent carers with their well-being and activities and, you know, an interest, but probably not in a structured way. So I'm interested in the course itself. So in terms of what's the length of the course that is taken, and also the delivery elements of it, because, you know, you could probably predict what I'm going to say, which is we would be interested to be working as a partnership. But is it a train the trainer model? So effectively it's training facilitators to then roll out the program in local areas, and if so, what's the requirements of that? So sort of two questions. One is, what's the actual length of the course that that parent carers go on to do, and then also what's the expectations for facilitators to be trained?
So in real life, we've delivered it as 6 half-day courses with a break in between for half term. So during the school day, they were, you know, people would come to a site and have a 2-hour session, break for lunch, and then 2 hours in the afternoon. We've also delivered it as 12 1.5-hour sessions as an evening class in the with the Torbay Parent Carer Forum. Val, what would you say about the virtual online group? Where are we at with?
So with the Zoom training, let's just call it that, it's that they're trialing, the two charities are trialing it in 2 different ways. They're trialing it over 6 weeks, doing 2 sessions across the week, so not together, because we feel that being on Zoom for a long time is too much. So they're trialing whether it works with parent carers to come twice a week for 2 hours. And then the other charity partner is actually doing 2 hours for 12 weeks. That answers your question.
Yeah. So the program's developed sort of systematically, but also iteratively. So each time we've done it, we've learned a bit, and various questions arise. In terms of the facilitators, so facilitators use a manual that we train them to use to deliver it, and we have a training manual that has also evolved iteratively with all people that we train. What we envisage at the moment is we would train parent carers affiliated to the charities, so it wouldn't be for local authorities to go and train their trainers as such. It would be coordinated centrally by the charities in collaboration with local authorities or the forums. So the reason for that is to have some level of quality assurance. So when we've trialled it, we've used checklists to consult with facilitators afterwards, the extent to which they've delivered it in the way that we expected it to be done with fidelity. Chris, does that help with the?
I think it does. So just so I'm just unclear in terms of the charity, are the charities we're referring to Contact and CDC here, or the charity? Yeah. Okay. So it would be a case of working with our Parent Care Forum to potentially approach Contact to see how they could be supported to be trained in. Because again, interestingly, we're training, maybe a training overload them, but we're training our Parent Care Forum to deliver some parent sessions and parenting programs and stuff for the very reason of who better to support other parent carers than parent carers themselves. So, okay, really interesting. So it's an approach to Contact, potentially, would be something that would be doing.
At this stage, Chris, Alice is project managing the research side of it. So in the future, the model is that people would contact the delivery, charitable delivery partners, because in the real world, research is less visible and not there sustainably. So at this stage, Alice would be a good first point of contact who's here. But then the idea in the future, a bit like the expert parent program with CDC, is if a local forum wants to run it, they contact CDC, and then CDC will organise a trainer to helicopter in and deliver the program there for them. So that's the model.
I've just put in my email into the chat for people. So if you are the kind of interested in the delivery, the partnering, you're a commissioner or funder, please kind of direct some conversation to me, and I'll kind of start the ball rolling with that. Chris, I know that Adele's put in the chat, unfortunately she lost some of the sound and was interested in just hearing a bit more about the programme and train the trainers. If we're short for time, I can email you, Adele, separately with some information, but I don't know if we've got any other questions, so just flagging that.
Hope's just highlighting the feedback form. We're very happy to be contacted after through Alice. There's a ton of stuff on our website. There's other videos. There's an academic paper describing the development of the programme, which is free to access. There's plain language summaries of that paper. We're just about to publish some more work, which we can share. And we're friendly, nice people that like talking to other people about stuff that we're passionate about. So by all means, get in touch with us. Any other questions or comments?
I think we're slightly over time, but in the feedback, please do say to CDC if you've got further questions. If you didn't quite catch my email address, I've got quite a strange name, so it's easy to miss out any R's or O's. So, you know, do put if you want to get in touch with us. It's a very quick session, but there's, you know, lots of scope. And as Chris said, we're really passionate to talk to people about this and move it on to the next level of being able to roll it out to so many more people.
Thanks, Alice. Hope, what time were we meant to end? Is it about now?
It is now, so if everybody can make sure to fill in their evaluation form. And thank you for the presentation. It was fantastic.
Thank you for organising, and thank you all for coming, and please just get in touch. We'd love to tell you more about it.